Uh, Welcome everyone back to my channel. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit more exciting than the first video. And that is going to be recreating one of my old drawings. Now, I won't be narrating over it, or I won't be pausing too much when I'm doing this. I'll just show you the time lapse, and you'll probably get like some voiceover or me in real life here interjecting just to say a few things. You probably won't be able to see me for the rest of the video, so hey. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and please enjoy the recreation of my old painting of Hellera. Hello, Tenshi from the future here. I wanted to quickly show you how you can flip between grayscale and how you can flip between your painted or kind of just colored drawing. Just in case if you want to get those values correct. So here I am. I'm in Photoshop, and you can see that I'm midway through the painting. So what I'm gonna do to make sure my values are right, one way you can do it is by going up to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and bump that down, and there you go. You have your grayscaled. But the one thing that I have a problem with is that you have to do this every single time, and then you gotta go back and forth. So no, we're not gonna do that. I'm lazy. So the thing you can do is set your color all the way down to black, make a new layer, get a bigger brush, and then we're just gonna fill this in. Make sure it's all the way, you know, blackened. I need to close down some apps. My shit's getting a little slow. But now that we have our black canvas, you can then go over to the layer styles, or layer blending modes, or whatever you call it, and go all the way down to saturation, and boom, you'll have your grayscale painting. If you don't want the grayscale anymore, boom, just take it off. That way you can just flip between grayscale to make sure all those values are correct. So I think I'm gonna place it above here, above all my layers, so that I can make sure I get everything good. And as you can see, that there are some areas here, and now that it is grayscale, I can see where my values are and what I can do to improve them. Like here, the edges of this rock is starting to fade in a little bit of the background, so I would take one of these darker colors and start like maybe painting them like around the side. Obviously not that dark, and obviously not with this color because I'm not on a color, but you know what I mean. Like I would take one of these colors and just boom, like do like a quick little, you know, shadow. Obviously it's not gonna be that way. You'll see what it looks like in the final render, but yeah, it'll allow me to see all the places that looks like it needs more attention in terms of values. Like this, that's starting to blend in. We're starting to not see that separation there. Even though there is light going to be hitting this, we can come in with a lighter color and differentiate this value here from this side of the mountain here. But little mountains, like you can see in here in the background, those are fading in the background for a reason, and that's due to it being farther back, and so it's going to blend in with the sky and have more of that ambient light just doing it. Air is liquid, okay? Air is liquid. Think of the world as like a giant tank, and air is a liquid, and it's filling up. It's going to be more dense at the bottom, hence why you're going to see a lot of more of that air, that ambient light of the sky being air, kind of filling everything in. And it's just like underwater, things farther away are going to appear more desaturated, that or blending into the background. That's what I kind of think of it as. But yeah, rant over. I just wanted to show you guys how to do that, and back to the process. You thought it was over? Haha, got him. Got him! Hello, this is me, Tenshi, from the even further future, telling you that this video is taking too long, and I wanted to kind of go a little bit more in depth with this thing that I was talking about, past Tenshi, which is technically future, but technically past compared to... It's all confusing. Anyways, we are in the Photoshop. You with me? And, okay, I have two photos I wanted to kind of share and kind of show an example of what I mean by air is liquid. So let's take a look at this one. You can see that in this nice big water image, I don't know if this is real or if this is AI, but I mean, it still proves my point, and I've seen a lot of real fit photos that look like this one, so you can't really sue me. Anyways, that in the foreground, everything is much more saturated and much more clear, more defined, more things like that. You can see how all the colors are the colors that they usually are, and they pop, they are everything. But once you go back in the back, because air is liquid and it's more dense, and it's more dense, and there are more particles in the way of you and that object, you're gonna see those particles in between those objects, being you and the object in the background. So, much like this, you can see that in the midground, things are starting to, they're starting to desaturate a little bit, starting to take on that bluish hue, because it's right there. It's not too far away where you can, barely see any color at all. But it is there that you can notice it. You can still see like this yellow starting to take on more bluish tint. That sponge, which is usually this yellow color, it's taking on that bluish tint. And yeah, that's how it's going to be in the middle ground. But once you get into the background, the big thing, all those particles in between you and the plane that is the background, it's going to get filled up by, other things like water molecules and other shit like that. So you can see that everything here takes on that blue tint. Alright, now that we have the whole thing grayscaled, you can see that up here, you can see all the values. The ranges from light to dark, everything. You can see the full range of values in the front. But when you get to the background, that contrast is less apparent. Everything starts to kind of blend together. You can see how the sky and the object is kind of sharing a similar value tone than up here. You can see the full range of darks and the full range of lights, but here it's in this sort of mid-gray tone, and everything is starting to be together in the same color. So that's what I mean. Same example here. We won't go as in depth because you kind of get the point, hopefully. Now, look, colors. You can see the full values. You can see how dark that gets. You can see how light it gets. Dark, light. You can see the difference between the two values. But again, as you move on to the background, then that's when you can see things are starting to take on that bluish hue. Here, you can see the different colors. This one's like a greenish. This one's like a blue, green. You can still see tiny bits of color variation, but it's not that easy to really notice. And same when you go into background. Things are starting to be that same blue color. It's not as colorful anymore. It's all blue, different variants of blue. Look, you have everything here. You got the purples. You see the purples here, the yellows, everything. Even here, you can see that how bright and saturated that orange color is. You can see the values, the different things like that. But once you get into the background, things are starting to look very similar. Greens now, there are blues. Darker versions of those, yes, but still blues and greens. You can barely get any sort of that saturation. And then background. Once you go back into the background, they're all pretty much the same color. Yeah, you're gonna still get some more value changes, but very, very rarely. And it's all become blue. I hope you get my point. It's the same way as it is on land, except it's not to this extreme. This is very extreme, but it's still, the same premise is still there. So take that into account when you're painting your backgrounds. Make your backgrounds lighter and less contrasty. Make your foregrounds more contrast, more saturation, more color variations, that sort of thing. So back to past Tenshi, which is for future Tenshi, and then he'll direct you back to the present Tenshi, which is technically the past Tenshi for me as of making this portion of the video. Why do I even bother? And there is the final result. It was a lot of fun trying to go back and redo this piece. Just go back in and redo an old one from so long ago. My art style has changed so much, and I've learned a lot since then. If I had to make one main thing that I wish I had done differently, is that I wish I had left the background less blurred than what it actually turned out to be. So since that's kind of lost to the ether, there's no way to really do that. So I'll just remember that for the next time, because as you saw, I did a lot of work on that background, and to see it just kind of be blurred was dumb. Yeah, that wasn't great. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. This is the second video that will be uploaded to my channel, and this is again a part of that little test to see if I can actually get things posted on time. So, speaking of which, if this is the first video you're watching, tap right there. Right here, somewhere right there. It'll take you to the other one. I redrew a bunch of the versions of the same character from a challenge, but you'll see how those turned out. Bye bye.